If you thought content creation is all rainbows and butterflies, then think again. I'm gonna spill the beans about what I learned from the biggest content creators from around the world with millions of followers. Guys, you're gonna wanna hear this. What are the biggest content creators saying about how you can grow your social media? These guys have millions of followers and they shared some of their tips and secrets at the 1 Billion Summit in Dubai that I just attended recently. So I can't wait to share a lot of these learnings with you. Let's get started. Oh, and I'm Miral, and this is my channel From the Ground, where I share healthy plant-based recipes, self-help / self-development content, and also guided meditation recordings, and a whole lot of random stuff like this video. So make sure to follow if you're interested in this kind of content. I attended the 1 Billion Summit in Dubai recently, and it had like a lot of the biggest content creators from all around the world across different industries. And they basically shared a lot of their secrets, some of their success stories, and one of their learnings. So I'm here and I'm going to share with you a whole bunch of stuff. You want to know all the secrets of how to grow your channel? Well, whether this is on YouTube or across different social media platforms, I hope you're going to find this video useful. There are 3 things that I want to share with you today. But before I get into those 3 main takeaways, I first want to also talk about some of the general stuff that came up a lot, and also that you might already know, or it might be new information for some of the people that are just starting out. So let me just run through those real quick. Obviously, one of the things is consistency. So if you're gonna create content, obviously make sure that you're creating content that you are able to sustain. It's not about getting super excited and going crazy and creating like, I don't know, like a bunch of videos that you post in 1 week and then you're completely burnt out and you're not able to sustain that flow of content. So make sure that you are factoring in when you're creating a piece of content. Don't just think about when you're gonna film it. You got to think about the time it's going to take you to think about what you're going to film, maybe write a script, and then the actual filming, then the actual editing, then the actual posting. So obviously there's going to be an A to Z process which you need to write out to figure out what you would need to do to get one piece of content out, and work backwards in terms of realistically how you can manage that along with your other life responsibilities, if you've got a full-time job as well or not, or other responsibilities that you've got. Another thing is really, I would say that the ideas and the concepts are more important than the production. Some might feel intimidated and they're really worried about, and they're like trying to nitpick on like, oh, it needs to be this fancy, or they look at other content creators and they're seeing all this like fancy, high quality footage and things that like, and some of these guys have been doing it for years maybe, so it's feeling intimidating, but you haven't even edited your first video or whatever, you've been doing it but not for so long. What they're saying, what these content creators are saying, that the idea and the concepts are much more important than the production. The production will evolve with time, naturally and organically, as you keep going. So don't worry about that. If you've got something important to say, or you want to create content, just jump in there and start. That will just get better with time, but you gotta really think about the idea and the concept. The first thing I want to say in terms of one of the key takeaways for me was that you want to add value. I mean, think of the content when you're spitting out content, like what kind of value is this contributing to the viewer? Work on that, and then that is going to also quite align with your core values as a person or as a business of what you're trying to achieve. We're not talking about like the fancy words about me, like I'm this and I'm that. No, it's about what are you actually trying to achieve. You want to like talk about the essence of yourself, like the essence of who you are or the brand, and trying to get real with it, instead of like people scrolling when they're seeing your content, but they're really kind of connecting with you as a person. Like, you get me, you understand me, I can relate to this. So you might wonder, like, how does this matter? How is this gonna make such a big difference? Well, think of it this way. Your core values are going to guide you in your content creation. So it's like your North Star of where you're heading and why you're doing what you're doing. It's not about like ticking off like a checklist. It's about making a content that's like a vessel for your brand story, and using it that way and looking at it that way. So like bringing out the realness of you and what you're trying to do. Number 2 is the 3-second rule. What I heard a lot is that the first shot or the first 3 seconds of any video is really gonna contribute significantly on whether the video is gonna make it or not. It's important to maybe even work backwards. Instead of creating a piece of content, thinking about how that piece of content is gonna translate on the screen in the beginning, and then that will basically be the reason why people will decide to watch the video or not. Think of it like a store in a mall. When you're walking in a mall and you see the outside of the store, you've got that first glimpse of the store. Is that first glimpse gonna speak to the person passing by to walk in or not? When they walk in is when you've got the opportunity to obviously give it a chance to see what you've got to say. But if you don't get it in the first 3 seconds or the first shot of that video, people are gonna scroll up. But think of the first thing that will come into the video and build everything around it. So then maybe you work backwards. You think of that and then you build the piece of content to support that first 3 seconds or the first shot of the video. It's the hook. It's like, what is it that you're gonna say or you're gonna display visually on the screen or together that's gonna grab the person to actually give the video a shot. The third thing was about the use of AI and the importance of it. Basically what they're saying is the speed that content is being produced is only going to get faster and faster and faster and faster. If you're not going to leverage the AI tools that are out there like ChatGPT, if you're not going to use these resources to help you put together the content in a faster pace, like quicker and more efficient, then you're going to basically lose out, because all these other content creators are going to be doing that. And one of the speakers actually said that he's written a bunch of books already, and now what he's doing is that he's the founder of Mind Valley. What he basically said is he has written or is writing his next book completely using AI. He's taken some bits and pieces from his previous books, so he's plugged that in to the prompt so it recognizes his tone, and he's going to brief the AI on what next book to be about, and that's going to help speed up the process so much. And he said the same applies to when he's running a caption for his social media posts. He'll include in the prompt previous captions that he's written. He's going to give ideal examples of how he likes his content to sound, and then that's going to help generate what he needs. And then that's what helps him in terms of the speed and the efficiency and productivity. I think AI is going to be I know that AI is your best friend in terms of being more efficient and more productive in your work across all sectors. But really, when we're talking about content creation, it's going to have to help you get there. Of course, it's going to help like brainstorming ideas, listing out the ideas that you want to generate when you're creating your series of content. So if you're not using that to help give you the ideas quicker, of course it's you briefing it in. So it's like the quality of the output is going to be based on the quality of the input. So the better your prompts are, the better the outcome. And that's going to just make things so much faster. Okay, so make it your best friend. I'm sure there's a whole lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to use AI, how to use ChatGPT, how to use all these other different platforms as well. Got a little visitor right now. What I would also say is, to wrap it up, if you're looking at content creation and if you're in for the long game, then you gotta... What? Are you wet? Oh my God, if he's peed and he stepped on his pee and I'm touching his pee, I'm not gonna be happy. What I would say is you can't skip through the process. You are gonna have to learn one video at a time. And a lot of people want all the answers. They attend all these events and they want to know exactly the secret sauce and exactly what to do. The truth is, you can watch all the content that's out there and tutorials and tips in this video and the upcoming videos that I have with more information about my learnings from the 1 Billion Summit event. Those are all tips, and these are all things that you can do to help you create better content. But the truth is, you can't skip through the process. Your second video is going to be better than your first video, and your third video is going to be better than your second video. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just start with the first video being in the same quality that your 100th video is going to be at. There are no shortcuts. Yes, you can watch tutorials, you can get better at it, you can get more educated. Of course, that's a given. Like, that's obviously what you're going to have to do, and watch more other people's content and learn from what they're doing and try to adopt some of those things. But you got to go through the motions, okay? If you're in it for the long term, then it's worth getting into this content creation business. If you're not, and the idea of that is very daunting and is unattractive, then that's fine. Like, that's totally fine. Up next is a video on how to make money as a content creator, what the biggest content creators at the 1 Billion Summit had to say. They've walked the walk, they've walked the talk, or whatever the saying is. They've done it, and they've done it successfully. So who better to hear from than the ones who actually have made it happen? Thank you for watching, and see you later in the next video.